What does a former duchess do when her public image is in tatters? For Sarah Ferguson, a fascinating and entirely hypothetical idea is making the rounds. What if she became a reality TV villain? This isn't a confirmed plan, but a thought experiment that's almost too perfect to ignore. The speculative pitch is that Fergie's best move is to join the US version of the Traitors and finally embrace the villainous role she's been cast in for decades. Is this a brilliant, last-ditch way to reclaim her narrative? Or would it be the final, desperate act of a fallen royal? In the cutthroat world of public relations, some moves are standard and some are gambles. But this idea? This is a Hail Mary. It's a provocative strategy that suggests Sarah Ferguson should lean into the chaos of her public persona. The logic is that after decades of scandal, she can no longer play the victim or the royal outcast. Instead, she should monetize the infamy. This has led to the captivating speculation that she should join the hit reality show The Traitors US, a game where being a masterful villain is the whole point. To understand why a woman once married to a senior royal is now the subject of such a wild rumor, we have to look back at how she got here. This isn't just about one mistake. It's about a 4-decade pattern of scandal and debt that has left her in a very public corner. The proposal for Fergie to join the Traitors US is a calculated strategy born from a career spent in the tabloid spotlight. The goal is no longer about regaining public adoration or royal favor. The goal is survival and relevance. After the most recent torrent of scandals, a traditional apology tour is likely useless. So, the thinking goes, the move now is to monetize the notoriety. The Traitors US is seen as the perfect arena for this. It's a game of deception and performance, where being cunning isn't just accepted, it's rewarded. By casting herself as the villain, Ferguson could seize control of a narrative that has haunted her for years. Instead of being a victim of headlines, she would become a self-aware player in a game watched by millions. The urgency behind this hypothetical move is tied directly to her current situation. Her ties to the late American financier and convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein, have created a uniquely damaging scandal. This means her usual escape route, rebuilding her brand in the US, is complicated. In the wake of newly released Epstein files, the consequences have been swift. Following her ex-husband Andrew's decision to relinquish his Duke of York title in October 2025, Sarah's courtesy title of Duchess of York was also dropped. Several charities have cut ties with her, and her own organization, Sarah's Trust, announced its closure in early 2026. While not homeless, reports since late 2025 describe her as living a nomadic existence, staying with friends and at wellness retreats to avoid photographers. With the doors to polite society closing, the only one left open might be the one to a Scottish castle filled with backstabbing reality stars. To understand the gravity of her situation, you have to rewind. Long before the current crisis, Sarah Ferguson's public life was a roller coaster. When she married Prince Andrew in 1986, the public was enchanted. She was Fergie, a fun-loving redhead who seemed to break the stuffy royal mold. But the fairy tale quickly unraveled. The first major crack appeared in 1992 when photos were published showing a topless Fergie having her toes kissed by her American financial advisor, John Bryan. The scandal was a global spectacle that mortified the royal family. The toe-sucking scandal cemented her image as a royal embarrassment and marked the beginning of her public struggles. From there, financial troubles became a recurring theme. She was dubbed the Duchess of Debt for her lavish spending. In 2010, she was caught in a sting operation by an undercover journalist, filmed accepting a $40,000 cash deposit for a deal to provide access to her ex-husband. On the tape, she was heard saying, £500,000 when you can, to me, opened doors. She issued a public apology for a serious lapse in judgment, but the damage reinforced her reputation for trading proximity to royalty for cash. However, all previous scandals pale in comparison to her connection with Jeffrey Epstein. While she once called taking money from him a gigantic error of judgment, files released by the U.S. Justice Department paint a far more disturbing picture. Even after Epstein's 2008 conviction for soliciting a minor for prostitution, their friendship continued. In one message, Ferguson described Epstein as the brother I have always wished for. Emails also revealed her asking for money to settle debts. This toxic association reached a boiling point in late 2025 and early 2026 with the release of millions of pages from the Epstein files. The fallout included Andrew relinquishing his title, which in turn meant Sarah would no longer be styled as Duchess of York. Several charities dropped her as a patron, and her own, Sarah's Trust, announced it would close. This is the context for the Traitors' speculation. For a woman with a ruined reputation and diminished public role, a reality show might not seem like a step down, but a strategic next step. So, what exactly is the Traitors US, and why is it being touted as a potential lifeline for Fergie? Hosted by the delightfully theatrical Alan Cumming, the show gathers reality TV veterans and a few wild cards in a remote Scottish castle. They compete in missions to build a prize pot of up to $250,000. But hey, race the twist. Among the faithful contestants are a handful of secretly chosen traitors. By day, everyone works together. By night, the traitors murder a faithful. Each day ends at the round table, where players debate and vote to banish a suspected traitor. If the faithfuls banish all the traitors, they split the prize. But if even one traitor survives to the end, they steal the entire pot. It's a masterclass in paranoia and psychological manipulation. The genius of the show lies in its casting of a character-driven ensemble. Producers seek out leaders, strategists, and, most importantly, villains. A controversial past isn't a liability, it's a story arc. In Season 1, Survivor legend Siri Fields played a masterful traitor game, building trust while ruthlessly eliminating her friends to win the $250,000. Then, Season 2 ended with a faithful victory, as Chris C.T. Tombarello and Trishelle Canatella sniffed out the traitors to share the prize. This is the opportunity for Ferguson. She could play the role everyone expects, the cunning traitor, using her life experience of navigating palace intrigue to outwit American reality stars. It would be a meta performance, a wink to the audience that she's finally in on the joke. Or she could defy expectations, enter as a faithful, and try to prove her loyalty. The game offers a chance to author her own story for the first time in a long time. Of course, this is a high-stakes gamble. Embracing the villain role on reality television is walking a tightrope. If she plays it poorly, coming across as entitled rather than clever, she could reinforce every negative stereotype. There's also the risk of an early, humiliating exit, as being a big name makes you an immediate target. However, there is a fascinating precedent. Lord Ivar Mountbatten, a second cousin to King Charles III, competed on the third season of the Traitors US and won. Unlike the villainous path suggested for Fergie, Lord Ivar played a quiet game as a faithful, referring to himself as the gray man who flies under the radar. He was unassuming, built trust, and survived to the end, splitting the prize pot with 3 other faithfuls. His success proves a royal-adjacent figure can win, but it presents a fascinating contrast. Lord Ivar won by being trusted. The speculative advice for Fergie is the complete opposite, to embody the stereotype of the scheming, disgraced former royal. His journey shows there's a path for a faithful, but it begs the question, is Sarah Ferguson capable of playing that role? After decades of public missteps, would anyone in that castle ever truly believe she is a faithful? Her reputation is so powerful that playing the villain might be an inevitability the moment she walks through the castle doors. We are witnessing a public figure at a crossroads, facing a crisis so profound that a reality TV show is being discussed as a plausible career move. The hypothetical idea of Sarah Ferguson joining the Traitors is a high-risk, high-reward strategy that perfectly encapsulates her 4-decade dance with fame and scandal. It's a move that could either be a stroke of PR genius or an act of desperation that ends in ultimate public disgrace. For a woman who has lost her title styling and seen her public life crumble, perhaps a game of lies for $250,000 doesn't seem so daunting after all. But the final question is for you. Would you watch Sarah Ferguson on the Traitors? And more importantly, do you think she'd be a traitor or a faithful? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.